Right back at it again, the old Firebird Restoration Station, working on the Great Pumpkin. Do a little something different here for you today. We're going to go over how much it costs to get that body shell back up to par, nice rust-free condition. Are basically ready to do the next steps of the build here. So I guess you guys have been watching since the very beginning. You kind of know what's been done. So I want your guesses of how much you think we've spent on the old spendometer so far to this point. It's a little more than I thought I would have spent. But all in all, the big picture, a Dynacorn replacement body, $15,000 plus probably that much to probably get it shipped to your house. And you still have to figure out that VIN number situation because, well, it's not exactly lawful, but you do what you want with that information. But nonetheless, I want your guesses on how much we have involved so far into this. Now, of course, keep in mind, this is a do-it-yourself channel, so we're not going to include labor. Labor is free because this is fun. At least I convinced myself that it's fun. I actually enjoy doing these things, so this was no problem putting this thing back together, but we still have parts involved. And that's what I want to share with you in case you think you might want to take on a project like this, what you might be getting into. So let's cover all the pieces and parts that have been replaced, kind of list those out. And keep in mind, we got to add up materials too. We had welding wire, we had argon, the old shielding gas, we had buffing wheels, cutoff wheels, and the occasional orange Mountain Dew because you got to have supplies to keep the guy doing that stuff going. So let's get started at the very beginning. You guys can list out the parts and let me know at the end what you think we have invested into this thing. Well, let's get started here. The Great Pumpkin, of course, looks a little different now. It's on roller skates, right? Well, actually, that's my little car flipper doohickey thing. And because I have low ceilings here in the garage, a normal rotisserie, by the time it's all mounted up, I'll be banging off the garage door and everything else. So didn't go that route. It's a super low profile and allows the things where I can roll around. And we're going to ship this thing off with a sandblaster, but that's a different day, different story to the video. Let's get started here at the front. Now, keep in mind, I used mostly AMD panels. Probably 80% of them were AMD because I actually got a little bit of a discount. Plus, they were able to ship all on one pallet, which saved me money on shipping, so it's kind of in and out. But okay, enough of that. Parts will be replaced. We used the toast board section here, only a small strip of it. Had to buy the whole panel. Driver's side, a little more material needed, so it went a little further up, but still the same thing, both of those actual toe boards. Also, the frame mounts here, rusted out from the bottom side. I didn't use the full things, but were the torque box frame mount. We bought both of those and section pieces those in to get those back up to par. Now it gets here to the windshield. The great thing is the actual dash panel. There's no rust in the bottom of this windshield channel, which still kind of blows my mind. One of the first cars I've had that's not had an issue here, so I'm going to take that as a victory. Had to do a little corner patching on the roof, both sides. This was the worst, but those are all doctored up, but no obviously metal or purchases there, just something that had to be done. Get here to the inside, you can see these patches here where I had to do those. This is a complete one-piece AMD floor pan. These are actually different branded seat bases. I was going to try to reuse the seat bases, but by the time I got them out, just wasn't happy, so I bought these. We're not AMD. We're going to keep scoring how much we've spent. Now, the outer rocker panel, I can show you to the driver's side. It was replaced. Both inner rocker panels, those are brand new now. When it gets here to the back of the car, we did not replace the inner fender wells. Those are actually originals. Had a little patchwork there by the rear shock mounts, but not too bad off. So those survived pretty good. Inner quarter bracing was fine. So that's recycled. These are recycled, the seat bases, and the same thing on this side. We're able to reuse the inner fender well. Now the story changes here. Passenger side, we actually have the original outer rocker panel. This survived. Now these were full quarter panels, so when you're keeping score, make sure you price out full quarter panels. I only cut them apart because I wanted to salvage and get this rear body line. I love leaving the gap in here like that. So that was the biggest reason why I bought full quarters, but I didn't do the whole thing for many reasons, but I also kind of like that number stamp surviving. We had the holes and the brackets to put the vinyl top back on this car because, well, we're putting it back on. Rear window channel, besides the corners here, actually in really nice shape. I have a little spot here I got to do some welding on. When I get it back from the sandblaster, I'll see what's left, but hoping very minimal metal work there. And then you get underneath the car here. Of course, you see the outer fender well. We had to do that. There was nothing on the wheel well arch at all. I didn't have to cut nothing apart. There was so much rust in here. I just basically cut the quarter skin out and it fell off the wheel well arch. So anyway, both outers, you'll see new frame rails, both left and right underneath the car here. And then of course, new trunk floor, one piece assembly. Went ahead and did it that way. So these are, put these on your pieces parts. Now, These are AMD, but OER is probably exactly the same. And the trunk drop-off, surprisingly, they were in really nice shape. I was able to recycle those, clean them up, sandblast them, put them back in service. Inner tail panel is brand new. It had a little bit of collision damage here in the back. So when we're getting into it, the tail panel was dented up pretty good. Good sized rust hole down in the bottom. So I opted to just go ahead and do a whole new tail panel. So you can see here what's going on. And then of course the trunk deck. I bought a nice AMD one. I can tell you, it's worth a few extra dollars. Now, they did cost more money, but the panel fit. I bought some of the other ones, and they just don't fit the radius here very nice. And even the contour is not quite right. And even the gauge is steel. If I were to pick that original one up and pick this one up, this one weighs a whole heck of a lot more. So I guess I kind of like a little more bang for my buck. So I'm really liking the trunk deck. So worth the extra bucks on this one. Then we get here, driver's side, same thing. I bought a full quarter, only sectioned in parts of it because I just like making that body line come back into the car. Same, no charge for these repairs, just something that we did. And then get down here to the driver's side, we have a brand new outer rocker panel. And then we have the outer wheel housing here. And like I said, recycled the inner. Came out pretty nice. And then, of course, the doors are going to be able to reuse those. And something else that I actually bought were the front fender patches. I went ahead and purchased those now, so I have those on the list. So unfortunately, they aren't necessarily on the car, but they're on part of that total that I have here that I want to share with you. And of course, something else to keep in mind. These cars, you set two cars, same age, same assembly line, side by side in the same cornfield or whatever hay field for 30 years and let them sit and rust, and neither one of them are going to rust exactly the same. I have been involved in many restorations, repairs, or helping out people work on these cars, and none of them rust the same. I can't exactly tell you why. There's some areas of common failure, I would say, like some rocker panels and floor pans, but when it comes to rear quarter panels, sail panels, roof pieces, I have no idea. They all rot just a little differently. So each one you do is kind of a new adventure. So it can be, I guess, one of the things that I enjoy about doing these. It's never the same thing over and over. Yeah, when it's done, it's a Firebird when it's finished, but how you got there, it's always a little bit of a different adventure. So there you have it. There's all the sheet metal replaced, but also I added in those are the front fender patches. I went ahead and purchased those at the same time because I try to get as much possible on the same pallet to get it shipped, because shipping is a big part of the equation. I wanted to give you true, real numbers, not just what it costs from the catalog and adding the parts up, but how much it costs to get it to your garage, to your shop, whatever you're rebuilding this car at. Shipping is a realistic expense to put into consideration when building these things, because I'll tell you what I spent on building that car years ago on shipping. A lot of it was nothing. They had a little glitch in the system. Jags and Summit, you bought more than $100, they shipped it for free. Even truck shipping, somehow they didn't catch on to that. Now, of course, since then that's been changed. They do charge the heck out of you for shipping. So this car here, the total tab on shipping was almost $1,000 between all the pieces and parts. Kind of depressing. So what I'm trying to say there, try to do as much bulk shipping as possible, make a pretty accurate parts list, and try to get somebody that will actually ship you everything on one pallet and save some money on shipping, because, you know, a few extra bucks put somewhere else in the car, it's gonna make the ease on the pocketbook a little easier to, you know, write that check to buy some more goodies or upgrades or modifications. So nonetheless, you've seen everything that's been done to it. What are you thinking so far? Are you thinking $10,000? Well, that's cheaper than a Dynacorn body. I said it was less than a Dynacorn, but not anywhere near $10,000. So what are you thinking? Well, it's not 9, it's not 8, not 7, not 6, but just under $5,000, $4,860 and some odd change. Like I said, doesn't include labor. That's shipping, parts, and the materials to get to this point. So I wanted to share that with you. So in case you're going to embark on trying to do one of these, how much you better get ready to put on the old spendometer. Well, I've got $5,000 wrapped up into this thing so far, but now I have a fantastic base to build a really super sharp and clean car. All right, so what's next? Well, now you know how much that costs to get this part of the project done, but we still are far away from being a complete shiny car. Need to do a lot more work. We got an engine to tear into, find out why she smokes a little bit. Got some frame patching to do here, because the holes aren't supposed to be that big. All things that we're going to take care of here. And I've got a pile of sheet metal still needs cleaned up. Some more new parts, shiny bumpers and stuff inside there. But as for this here, Gonna send it off to the media blaster. I'm not gonna mess with sandblasting in this garage anymore. I'm just, I don't like doing it. I really do not care for sandblasting. I don't mind doing a little spot blasting. I have that huge pressurized Marco sandblaster and all the goodies to make it work. I think I'm gonna sell that. So, anybody might want that, make me an offer. Live here in the Indianapolis area. I'd love to free up all that space in my garage, just send the thing to a new home. But besides all that, you missed out on how this thing came to be. All the metal work, all the steps, all the bits and pieces, even tearing the whole car apart. Click right about here somewhere. Gonna have a link to all those videos, a whole playlist. And of course, appreciate you following me on the journey. But next go around, we'll start tearing into that engine. So hope you guys find this information useful or helpful, or at least get you an idea of what it costs. So appreciate you following us on the journey, and we'll see you guys next time.